The following tutorial will illustrate how to upload unformatted data onto the TOXBANk data warehouse using the FTP server. So the first step is to go to TOXBANk. It says services.toxbank.net. You enter your username and password. And we want to upload this unformatted data. And go ahead and go to the upload. So this is an experiment where it's generated quite a lot of data that would be desirable to share. At the moment it hadn't been converted to the ISA-tab format, but it would be useful to share this information. So we're going to upload, we're going to go to upload the investigation data, and in this case this data is greater than 10 megabytes. And so what we're going to say is select this option, a summary with unformatted data greater than 10 megabytes. The first step is to upload the data to an FTP server. So under here, more information, there's a link that will describe the aspects of the FTP server, some of the information such as what the host name is, how to set the password, the secure FTP site, and an example how to do that with the FileZilla FTP client. So we're going to transfer some data to the FTP server, and this is the TOXBANk server. So this is transcriptomics data. It's a zip file. So here is the FileZilla application, or you could use whichever FTP transfer application you wish. So what I'm going to go to is the site manager to start off. So here is the TOXBANk production FTP server, which is services.toxbank.net. The protocol has been set to FTP file transfer. It's going to request a username and password, and the username is your TOXBANk username and the password is your TOXBANk password. So let's connect to the FTP server. So I'll just need to enter the password. What I want to then do is here, as I've located this file, I'm just going to copy this file to the FTP site, and that could copy it to a folder, but in this case I'm just going to copy it to the FTP site. So let's go ahead and move that, and then let's copy it to the FTP site. So here you can see it's being copied over. And depending on how large the file is, it might take a few seconds to a few minutes. But it looks like this file is going to take about 30 seconds to copy over. And you could copy any number of files to the FTP site. You could copy them to a particular folder in the FTP site if you wanted to organize it that way. And this FTP site can also be used with the ISA-tab data format, because you could copy raw data to the FTP site and then in the ISA-tab just link to these FTP site. So it looks like it's got 20 seconds left to copy this file over to the FTP site. And the name of the file was tx.zip. It was a zip file containing some transcriptomics data. Okay, there it's copied. You can see the file is on the TOXBANk production FTP site. So let's go back to TOXBANk now. So what we do is then we link to that file. So if I just type in maybe a few letters, what it's going to show you is the file that we just uploaded. So let's select that file. And again, you could add any number of files. We give it a title, so let's just call it transcriptomics acet then HEPA RG, for example. We can give it an abstract, and this will be available to anybody that wants to search the warehouse. type in a few letters of the name of the author, and we can select any number of authors. We can also select the organization that owns the data. Again, just select a few letters. It's important to select keywords, and the keywords could include if this data is generated as part of a Surat 1 case study. But I think it's important to think about what biomaterials were being used. So in this case, it was a particular liver cell. What sort of data was being generated. This was some omics data was being generated. This was transcriptomics data. What chemicals were being tested. What was the investigation technique? So this was a transcriptomic study. What particular modes of action were being probed? And if everything looks okay, you can also select access level. Is it only a particular consortium like TOXBANK and Detective can view this, or if you want to make it available to the Surat 1 cluster, or ideally to the public. Let's set Surat 1 cluster, and let's go ahead and preview that data. So this is an opportunity just to review that the data looks okay, and if it looks okay, then we can then go ahead and publish this investigation, and it will be available to the cluster. So there's the data. Here's the file. You can download the file. If that looks okay, let's go ahead and publish that investigation. So here under My Uploads, you'll see there's a new test, this transcriptomics test that was just been uploaded. If I go to the upload status dashboard, you can see this test has been uploaded and the status has been set to unformatted data uploaded. And finally, if I go to the search, I could search, for example, for a keyword. Let's search for acetaminophen, and let's sort on the last date modified. So the end one is this transcriptomics data that we just loaded into the TOXBank data warehouse. Here I'm just clicking on that link to be able to view the record, and if I wanted to actually go ahead and download that zip file, I can save that file or open the file in an application to view the zip file. Probably noticed that because it is not formatted, we can't view it in the dashboard. And there's various restrictions on its use, but you can download the information, and it is available for others in the clusters to see. So in summary, what we just did there was to upload some preliminary data. This was unformatted data using the FTP server, in this case because we were uploading quite a large file, and this technique could be used to upload a series of large files and make them available to the cluster as preliminary analysis prior to formatting the information according to the ISATAB Universal Data Exchange format.